Hi. Day 12 was Socorro to Datil, New Mexico. Kind of excited about the day because I knew I was going to get to go by the Very Large Array, which were the big radio dishes in the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. So pretty excited about that. And Nate and I had gone by those on the way out of Arizona on our bicycle trip. We didn't even know they existed. So when we saw them, we were kind of freaked out about them, thinking, "What the hell are those? Some secret armed force base that's spying on the Russians or something?" I don't know. As you can see by the map, it was a day where there were no breaks. It was pretty much uphill the whole way. Now over the number of miles, that isn't a huge increase, but 3,500 feet of climbing, that's pretty decent. And it was some work. No coasting on that day, and plus I had a wind against me, so just wonderful stuff. But as I left Socorro, there was a little house. I thought, oh, that'd be a great purchase. Looks in great shape and cheaper than Colorado, and why not? Nah, maybe not. Little mountain range right outside Socorro. You go around the bottom side of it, and as again you can see on the map, and there was a big road cut with a huge road cut of sedimentary rock. It was kind of neat right there. And either an old canyon or river base or ocean bottom or something was there. It was pretty nice. In some of those foothills that I went around, there were a couple of interesting things. There was this little hill, these rolling hills, and up on the top of the ridge were horses. And for some reason, it just kind of looked neat with the silhouette of the horses, or I'm sorry, cattle up on the ridge. So that was kind of nice. And there was also right near that, there was also a roadside memorial for obviously someone who had died, but they did some staircases up to the top and then did a little memorial up on the top, and they did a very nice job of it. Yeah, you hate seeing it because you know someone died, but you also know that some people cared for that person. And some wild gourds were growing alongside the road. That was kind of neat. And as I got into the big valley, there was this one lone juniper tree that fascinated me. I don't know why it was there. There was nothing else like it around. I kind of wondered if there had been a residence or something there at one point a long time ago, because it was perfectly rounded and really, really nice, and don't know why it was there. So I thought it was a good chance to wave at everyone. I was in the valley, and there was a sign there that kind of described the fault and the geology of that area, and it was kind of neat because I actually understood it because my dad had taught me some geology and suggested some books, and it was just fun to be able to see that and ride through it, and with no one else around. I don't think anyone did that road except for a few trucks now and then. As I got out of that valley and started curving around again through another little ridge, as you could probably saw on the map, I came to this area in the foothills with just tons of junipers. I mean, they went on for miles and miles, and they seemed to be evenly spaced, and they look like a little army of junipers, and that was kind of neat. I went through a town called Magdalena, which I believe Nate and I stayed in one time. There was a rest stop that I think I saw on the outskirts. Nate and I had camped at that rest stop when we were there, and now it was kind of like a big campground. But that was kind of nice. And I was getting hungry at that point, and blood sugar getting a little low, so I had some huevos rancheros and some pie. Pie is almost in the category of ice cream bars. You must have it. So I did, of course, just because it was required by law. And that was very nice. Let's see. The next thing was as I came down that ridge and into a big valley, I knew I was kind of getting somewhere near the Very Large Array, even though I had quite a few miles to go. You know, when most people see a sign that says 15 miles to go, we'll be there shortly. When you're on a bicycle, it's an hour and a half when you're on a 67-pound bicycle. But it was kind of neat to see that sign. I was all excited to see that, and looking forward to that. And so as I started getting closer, I saw I could see the Very Large Array from a distance, and just was very excited about it. But as I got near it, there were some clouds that were building, and I really like this picture of the building clouds, and you can almost see a little funnel cloud on the right-hand side. I don't know what that was, a downspout or something, but you could see the dishes in the distance. but it was starting to get windy. So I pulled over, and there was, kind of a pull-off area where people could stop and look at the Very Large Array. And I kind of sat down behind the little barrier, not a roadside barrier, but kind of the fence for the parking median, because it was getting really windy. I mean, to the point where I was nervous I wouldn't be able to stand up. I certainly couldn't ride. I'm hiding behind a parking lot barrier because there's a storm approaching. I can barely stand up, let alone ride. So I'll show you the storm here. So I'm hoping it passes soon, but we'll see what happens. I got about 15 more miles to go, but I can't ride in this. It's too dangerous. It was roaring by me. It was really something. Actually, I believe a lady had stopped, pulled over, and said, "Hey, do you want to ride?" And I said, "No, I can make it in the rest of the way." Because she's sure. And I said, "No, I'm looking at the radar," which I put an image up there, and it said, "Doesn't look like it's going to last long." So. But I was getting really cold fast, so I had to put on my windbreaker and a couple other things, and was able to survive and then get on and ride again. That was really nice. Seeing the Very Large Array was nice, and where I pulled over was actually where the train tracks came in. They actually built a whole train line to bring the stuff in for the Very Large Array. These dishes are huge. They're not like the size of a house. They're the size of a small building, and so they were a multi-story building. So it was neat. It was pretty neat to see that. I continued on to Datil. I pulled over and saw some swallows. There was a little bridge, and as I got near it, some swallows started going crazy, and I think I pissed them off. I needed a break. I knew I'd scared them, and they were flying all over, and so that was kind of a nice break. I was getting tired at that point, and I knew that the place I was staying in Datil, they had advertised it as a kind of not a resort, but a nice place where people would go through if they were doing the Continental Divide Trail and whatever, and so I was kind of looking forward to it. And when I got there, it was a dump. It was a good place to stay, no complaints, but it wasn't your most exciting place I'd ever been. But it was all right. The bed was okay. There were some fairly large insects on the floor, which I was able to get rid of. Let's just say this wasn't Boulder when I looked at the magazines on the counter. Not going to say anything more about that one. But there was also a gas station that had a restaurant. They're a pretty nice restaurant, and had a hamburger, which was okay. Talked with some people. They were asking me about the trip, and was able to talk with them, and that was pretty nice. And so that was that day. The only bad thing about that day is those sunglasses you saw in the video, I left them there somehow, or they got taken. I put them down and didn't have them anymore, and so I had to do the whole next day without sunglasses, and had to wait till the next city to buy some. And it was good. It was a good day, and felt good to see the Very Large Array, and felt like I was actually making some ground again, and getting there, and that was a good feeling. And that was day 12. Thanks for listening. That kind of reminds me of the movie The Birds. There's a chance they'll attack me.